Weather, when a warning is issued, that means it's happening or imminent. So that's what this particular warning is, just waiting for this line to move right into that area. You notice that the other severe thunderstorm warnings have been dropped back across southwestern Alabama. In Pensacola, no more severe thunderstorm warning for you. The storm itself really did weaken as it moved through there. All the instability had been used up by all of the overnight storms. But now we're tracking this go into Bay County, Calhoun County, Washington County. The whole area is moving pretty quickly. Before it had a forward speed of about 65 miles per hour, and I think it might be close to that still. But we're tracking this and concerned that, of course, there'll be some renewed strength with it as it approaches Lynn Haven and Panama City and Panama City Beach. The rain has moved in across all of the beaches right here. Some of that rain is heavy at times. Thankfully, in Pensacola, it's not that heavy right now with the rainfall rates that we're seeing. But look, the damage done with that flooding we had overnight. We had anywhere from 10 to 16 inches of rain. Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa County, that leaves you under a flash flood warning that does continue until 10:15. Still a considerable risk, even with this lighter rain. Worried about that there may be some areas that just can't handle it. So we heard from the mayor just about 20 minutes ago, and he said, if at all possible, stay where you are if you're in a safe place, because they're still assessing some of the areas. Now, this is how much rain fell, and it was not just locally one area that got a foot of rain. It was pretty widespread, actually, especially in town and south. That was up over 10 inches of rainfall, 3 to 5 across this whole zone from Cantonment all the way down to Gulf Shores, Gulf Breeze. You had some flooding last night. The Naval Air Station in Pensacola had flooding with water getting into homes there. So concerned when new storms move in later today that we could see more flooding. Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, a couple of thunderstorms have fired up here. We have a couple of risks too, severe thunderstorm winds, as well as the risk for some rotation and perhaps a tornado. So this includes parts of Lancaster County. It includes East Drummoor, Little Britain, Providence. This goes until 11:15. Now, the storm cell itself has that backward C shape, and so that indicates likely some strong damaging winds that will come out of this. But we've been monitoring this here on Doppler radar, and there is some apparent rotation. It's broad, but it's there on the Doppler velocity. So certainly concerned about that. We're going to track it east here, even outside of the Warren area. So you know that places like Westchester, if it holds together, it would get there about 11:44. This comes after a deadly night in Texas, Alex, from tornadoes.
Yeah, that's right. Tornado tearing its way through the Texas Panhandle on Thursday, and the small town of Perryton really took a direct hit. I mean, you can see some of the image showing up there. Here's what we know. At least 3 deaths have now been reported so far, along with dozens of injuries. Survey crews with the National Weather Service in Amarillo, they're going to be out later today assessing the damage and eventually giving it a bit of a rating. And then last night, Texas Governor Greg Abbott deployed emergency response resources to the area, including search and rescue teams and emergency medical services. Devastating tornado, again, rolling its way through the panhandle of Texas here. And you can see there was the tornado here. You can see it swirling and spinning, kicking up some of that dust and the dirt. And this part of the where it was in Perryton, yeah, not impacting anyone at that point over more rural spots, but eventually, as you saw, moved right on through an area that was certainly populated with a lot of people. Well, you can see the path of some of these thunderstorms as well, and within that path, not just some of the damage there, but also the power outages that are still in play for us right now. And it's northeastern Texas, getting into Louisiana and into Mississippi, that corridor that's been hit the hardest with the power outages. 224,000 in Texas without power, 180,000 there in Louisiana, and 166,000 in Mississippi. And again, those are customers. One customer, that's one household or business, which of course can contain more people. So there are way more people that are without power at this time, including in and around Shreveport. Got a number of outages showing up there, and in and around Jackson, Mississippi. There were the storms that fired up yesterday. Again, started out southeastern Colorado, western Kansas, then tracked towards the south and the east. We had the report of getting the tornado there in the Perryton area, not just a report, but cited, and of course the damage as well. And then all the storms tracked towards the south and the east. Just a number of reports that showed up out there. It wasn't just Perryton that saw that reported tornado. Arnett as well saw that tornado. It was dissipating as it moved its way into the county there at Ellis. But nonetheless, the tornado showing up there. And then we have reports of hail and wind. How about Fort Sill? 3-inch hail stone showing up there. And in Norman, Oklahoma, just south of Oklahoma City, an 84-mile-per-hour wind gust. So these storms, they absolutely meant business as they roared on in. Last 24 hours, hailstone reports coming on in. We talked about Fort Sill at 3 inches, but how about there in the Sanger area? 5-inch hail. That's a huge, huge stone that we had to deal with. And it wasn't just yesterday that we saw that. Going back to Monday, each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, each day we had a report of a hailstone that reached at least 5 inches in diameter. That's a big hailstone to find just at one point in a whole week. To deal with it 4 days in a row, Dr. Postel, that shows you just how intense these storms have been.
Yeah, and the good news is right now, Alex, is that right now over the central and southern plains, the weather is relatively quiet. We don't see a lot going on. There's some showers, there's some thunderstorms here and there. There's some scattered clouds, but overall,